Coming up, let's forget about the football and talk about wrestling. We've got a scrapped Fiend faction, a WWE star being run off Twitter, President Biden wading in on the non-compete clause debate, and so much more. So subscribe to the channel to get your daily wrestling news fix, and you know, really help us out. We could use the boost. We lost the football. Ollie's still crying probably, that's why he's not here.
Support WrestleTalk!
Where, oh where has my little Fiend gone? Where, oh where can he be? Because he came back at WrestleMania, magically recovered from severe burns, lost to Randy Orton, and then disappeared off into the ether again, never to be seen. And while it's been noted that Bray is off of WWE TV for a reason and that there is a plan to bring him back, he's even been advertised for an upcoming Raw show, no one outside the company really knows the reasons that he's gone. And as with all things in wrestling, it could either be a long-term plan or just be scrapped completely and thrown together at the last possible moment. The two binary choices in wrestling. And those sort of scrap plans seem to follow the Fiend around like a bad smell. It was Ring of Honor's Best in the World pay-per-view this weekend, and before the show, Mike Bennett, who was released by WWE in April 2020, spoke to Metro about his near brush with the Fiend and a new faction, saying, early on when Bray Wyatt turned into the Fiend, Vince was always high on having Bray lead a group for some reason. He always wanted him to lead a group. We were about a week away from making it happen, where me and Eric Young were going to be part of Bray Wyatt's group. We were going to actually they were going to bring to life the puppets. Each puppet was going to represent an actual person. I don't remember, there were talks that I was going to be Sister Abigail and Eric Young was going to be a buzzard. I thought it was really cool. I was ready to sink my teeth into it, but then like most stuff there, right before it happens, they're like, oh yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. You're like, oh, okay, cool. That would have been a really cool spot, but I guess I'll go sit in catering. There's something decidedly Eeyore-ish about the way everyone's like, oh well, I guess I'll go sit in catering. WWE really does seemingly drain the life out of people. But what do you think of these plans? Would you ever like to see the puppets brought to life by wrestlers like some sort of live-action Disney remake? Let me know in the comments down below because I will be replying. Speaking of fascinating faction factoids, here is another one. We all know that AEW star Jon Moxley was formerly the lunatic fringe of WWE Dean Ambrose, a character perhaps most famous for his time in The Shield along with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Well, once upon a time, he was almost marching to a different tune. Speaking with such good shoot, former WWE talent Heath Slater, who was also released last year along with Bennett, said that when transitioning his character from the one-man band to having an actual band, there were some other mans he tapped to join his man's band. He said, I was like, come on, I need a band now. I've been a one-man band, let me have a band. They're just like, oh, who are you thinking? I pitched Dean Ambrose, Fandango, and EC3, and this is before any of them are on TV. Slater revealed that he put this to Michael Hayes, and a very quick Google of the history will tell you that exactly none of this happened. He was instead paired with Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre. Before we move on, we need to thank Ronald Coleman, Bebe, and the blacksmith, Jason Smith, for their support on Patreon. Thanks, guys. Now, the news that Jimmy Uso had once again been arrested for driving under the influence broke early last week, and it tends to make you think a few things. It's reckless and irresponsible, obviously, but I also hope that he gets help if he's genuinely struggling with any problems. What it shouldn't make you think, though, is, great, this is a good opportunity to attack Jimmy Uso's wife Naomi on Twitter, which is regrettably something fans on Twitter have decided to do, almost as if they never heard the phrase, two wrongs don't make a right. Shocking racial and personal abuse was leveled at Naomi, which seemingly forced the SmackDown star to close down her Twitter account and her Instagram profile. Now, many WWE stars have come out condemning the abuse and in support of Naomi, with Mia Yim tweeting, "Naomi, you are loved," and also saying that she was reporting all of the abusive tweets. Cedric Alexander also sent all his love and support to Naomi and her family. Someone needs to tell these sorts of wrestling fans and the English football fans that you can love something without it turning toxic. Sticking with Jimmy Uso, who was arrested Monday night in Pensacola, Florida after running a red light while speeding and failing a sobriety test, he appeared on SmackDown on Friday, despite the fact that reports claim higher-ups in WWE were extremely disappointed and legitimately pissed off at his actions. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer revealed that nothing's happening at the moment regarding a fine or suspension, and speculated that this could be because Jimmy is involved in a major angle that could include The Rock at WrestleMania. He said, "There's stuff that's that's in the plans that they feel is far too important and they don't want it screwed up. And that's the answer. I mean, here's hoping that WWE are at least offering Jimmy and Naomi support behind the scenes to deal with any issues and the abuse that they've received online if they aren't pursuing the route of a fine or a suspension. It's just a decent thing to do. Moving on to WWE's own problems, a major one of which has been the recent glut of releases. Talent let go from the company legally can't work anywhere else until they have seen out a 90-day non-compete clause in their contract. Unless, of course, you are Malakai Black, whose NXT contract wasn't updated properly, giving him a 30-day one instead. Hence why he's in AEW now, and hence why WWE has been panic phone calling people like Buddy Murphy. Ultimately though, non-compete clauses are fairly common business practice. They say to protect trade secrets and investments, but they do also disempower employees to make better choices for their own careers and generally drive down wages overall, as people can't move freely to gain higher pay. Don't take my word for it, take the word of US President Joe Biden, who is using an executive order to ask the Federal Trade Commission to ban or limit these sorts of agreements. In a speech, the Prez said at least 1 in 3 businesses require their workers to sign a non-compete agreement. These aren't just high-paid executives. Recent studies found that 1 in 5 workers without a college education are subject to non-compete agreements. Workers should be free to take another job if someone offers it. If your employer wants to keep you, he or she should make it worthwhile for you to stay. And that's why I'm asking for the championship back. Now, while Biden didn't specifically mention WWE in this address, because I guess why would he, should what he is proposing come to pass, it could seriously affect WWE's current business model and make them think very long and very hard about their increasingly common cuts. One of whom just made waves over in Ring of Honor. It was the promotion's best in the world pay-per-view last night, like I said, which excitingly saw Bandido conquer Rush to become the Ring of Honor World Champion. Also announced that the show was a 16-woman tournament to decide who will be crowned the new Women of Honor Champion. Maria Kanellis and Lenny Leonard announced that Vita had been declared ineligible for the tournament, and taking her place was none other than Chelsea Green, the hot mess herself. Interestingly, Green was released from WWE after she broke her arm during her SmackDown debut, and announced here that the Maryland Athletic Commission had not cleared her to wrestle, saying she'd sit out the tournament and challenge for the title a month after her cast comes off. Just before the show, Fightful Select reported that Ring of Honor had reached out to multiple recent WWE releases, with a deal in place for one to come into the company imminently. Imminently turned out to be pretty darn imminent. It'll be interesting to see who else is on their shopping list over the next few weeks though. And if you've been keeping up with most of the news in this episode, then you'll know that 90-day non-compete clauses are a thing, and it doesn't take a beautiful mind to work out that 90 spins of the old globe haven't elapsed since Green was released by WWE back in April. It was close, but it was not quite 90. Sean Ross Sapp updated on this, saying that you'll notice this is before Chelsea Green's non-compete clause was scheduled to be up. We confirmed with WWE sources recently that she was one of those that asked for an early out on it. Now, this may be a case of WWE going, well, it's only a couple of days, that's nothing really. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone else asks for and is granted an out from their clause in the coming months. That is before Biden gets rid of the things entirely. Maybe. Probably not. One person seeing out his non-compete clause with a series of interviews is the former Killian Dain, big bloomin' Damo, he of Quizlemania fame. Dain was released last month in another shocking set of cuts within WWE. Shocking especially as Killian revealed to the It's My House podcast that he had signed a contract extension just prior to his release. He was actually meant to leave on the same day as Alexander Wolf. Adding, not a lot of people know this, I just signed an extension so I could easily have gone at the same time as Alexander Wolf because our deals expired on the same day. So I genuinely believe that this is something that was a last minute thing, you know. He also pointed out that he'd just been featured in a feud with Fandango, who was also released, ominously and quite rightly pointing out that it seemingly could happen to anyone at any time. If you want to hear more from Damo about his time in WWE, head over to the WrestleTalk podcast channel because Adam Blampied did a special interview with him that went up over the weekend.
And that's definitely what I'm going to try and do, is show them this is everything I did wrong. So
Damo, what I'm hearing from you right now is you want us to set up WrestleTalk Pro Wrestling. That's what so you can come in and sort of be
listen, only if you get me the tiniest belt possible. All right, so it's important to me that you think of me as Yokozuna and the belt as, much smaller. So